It was a dark and stormy night. What damage would result? We'd see in the morning. Here's another project over at the Glen. So I'll show you a picture here in a second of what this looks like before I started cleaning up at all. But we have a collection of several different trees in here. Obviously down here we have the top of one of the hemlocks that I've cleared off there, and then up there the big tree, I believe is definitely an oak, I believe a northern red oak, and so that came down and with it hit some of those other hemlocks up there. And then if you can see up there, a section of the hemlock, I don't know, maybe 8 feet long, is just hung up there, stuck on one of its branches. So this will be tricky. You know, just that big red oak. We'll go up and we'll take a look at the stump there where it came down. And you can see up there, I don't know how good the lighting is right now, but where it snapped off up there, the one hemlock. So I was able to limit all as much as I can and get a better sense of what's going on here. And we'll get some folks together and we'll figure out a way. So up here we're at the base of that big oak that came down. So this would be to the right of the trail where we're looking at before. And you can see a lot of the rot in there. And so this thing snapped off, came down. You can see a little bit of a scar in there where it may have bounced off of this mostly not real healthy hemlock to the right there. Came down, and then up there you can kind of see where that one hemlock snapped off. So I think that was the top that's in the front when we were showing you that earlier. And then you can also see where on the way down it has bent over this guy, just splintering it up, pulling that down in there. And then with this oak, the branches branch out as we get up there, 30 feet or so, and so you see it grabbed hold and snapped over this other one. I think that's another hemlock. And then up there is the one that snapped off. And then on top of all that, there's this tree that is now kind of growing out horizontally, is holding up part of that mess right now. So I'm figuring out what the other experienced people want to do in terms of trying to clear this. And then I just noticed too that this yet another one is kind of tangled up in this mess. You see this guy's pulled up a little bit. That's part of the thing here, is the soil is such that it's tough for the trees to really get down very deep with the roots. And so you get some of these domino effects. Also, this is unfortunate that the one hemlock, you can see the little silver tag there, is one of the ones that has been treated. So we're back at the scene, and you can see it's cleared up pretty well. So last Friday, myself and the two Garys, there's Golf Gary and Fun Brother Gary. And it's one of those things where sometimes three minds are better than one. Actually, almost all the time they are. What we ended up doing was, clearing off the one hemlock that had snapped off from up above, and then pulling and tugging a little bit with some ropes, got some other stuff to drop, and then cut off pretty much all we could. Now, you remember that one hemlock that was bent over, so we cut away at that little by little, and that lowered things down. We got to a point where a lot of that big red oak is still up there. You can see where up there it's kind of caught and the crotch of the red oak is wrapped around that hemlock that snapped off. And so we decided to just leave that there. Might come with a pole saw and clear off a few more of these branches, but we have a good 7.5 foot of clearance under here now, so we can get vehicles under here. It's one of the things we'd like to do is try to make it so that we can get emergency vehicles through here if we ever have to have that. Probably should mention too, this tree that was bent over, that snapped too during all this process. So we still have one little hemlock there, and then another one over here, this bigger one, that's holding up that big one, that big red oak. And so it's there. So that red oak, it had a circumference of 79.5 inches. So it was a good size, and I'm estimating, based on pacing it out, 90, 100 feet tall is what it was. And it's kind of weird. You can see a lot of leaves here still going. But it was that rot at the trunk that just made it really weak there and had to come down. The hemlock that's holding up, that's a 52-inch circumference there. But you can see it's already bending over a little bit and coming on that. So we'll have to see where that goes. So that wraps up this mystery, this puzzle of how to take that old mess apart and not have anybody get hurt. So a couple key things out of that is, one, it helps to have multiple people. So we had 3 sets of eyes watching this. Sorry I didn't get any video of that, but 2 people could be watching the different trees on both sides of this while another person was cutting, pulling and tugging, making sure we stayed safe in that, but also taking our time to figure out what pressure was on where, and coming to the conclusion that we think we're good for now. We're going to let Mother Nature take over for a while, and if this ever comes down, the rest of it, I'll let you know about that. I did measure the one branch that's hanging down there, so I know when that starts to drop. Right, so we'll have a measure of that. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye now.